Deep in the wilderness, far from any active mining site, an enormous rusted TRL sat abandoned, forgotten by time. Parker Schnabel had seen plenty of old mining equipment left behind in remote areas, but this one was different. We're talking about a massive 40 feet long machine with a 6.5 feet diameter, built back in the day when mining was all about moving massive amounts of dirt as fast as possible. It was clear that this machine had once been a powerhouse built for heavy-duty operations that processed enormous amounts of pay dirt. But there was a problem. Old mining machines weren't the most efficient when it came to capturing small gold particles. A lot of fine gold slipped through the screens, sometimes accumulating inside the equipment over years of use. If that had happened here, this TRL wasn't just an old rusting piece of junk. It could be hiding a fortune. Parker's curiosity got the best of him. Well, there would spent half a season on this wash plant. Probably if you were running at 24/7, reduce maintenance, reduce downtime to plant moves, two big things for us. So not our wash plant. He climbed up onto the TRL and started scraping away the grime and debris that had built up over decades. At first, it seemed like just another abandoned relic covered in rust and dirt. But then something caught his eye, a faint glimmer of gold inside the machine. It didn't seem real at first. Could gold really have been sitting there completely untouched for all these years? But as he looked closer, he saw more flecks of gold embedded deep in the machine's worn-out interior. What started as a hunch quickly turned into a shocking revelation. The TRL was packed with gold, so much that the total value was estimated at over $400 million. Somehow no one had come back for it. Maybe the original miners had run out of money. Maybe they had hit obstacles they couldn't overcome. Whatever the reason, the machine had been left behind, with all that gold just sitting there waiting to be rediscovered. Now Parker faced a massive challenge. If he wanted to extract that gold, he had to get the TRL working again. But that was easier said than done. The machine was enormous, rusted and falling apart. Moving it out of the wilderness was the first hurdle. Transporting something so heavy over rough terrain without damaging it would be difficult, requiring cranes, trucks, and precise planning. Then came the real work, repairing the machine itself. The crew had to replace worn-out gears, fix broken screens, and reinforce the giant steel drum that made the whole operation possible. Testing out those two plants that we did today was a good thing to do, but we need to make some decisions. Clocks ticking. It was slow, grueling work, but Parker and his team refused to give up. They knew what was at stake. While they worked, they decided to test the dirt piled up around the TRL, just in case it contained gold as well. That's when things took an even crazier turn. The dirt wasn't just good, it was unbelievably rich. Every pan revealed more gold than expected, far beyond what normal mining ground would yield. This wasn't just an ordinary site. It was something truly special. Realizing just how valuable this location was, Parker wasted no time. He set up a small processing plant nearby to maximize efficiency. He wasn't about to let another ounce of gold slip through his fingers. Using a combination of old-school mining techniques and modern technology, he ensured that not a single speck of gold was wasted this time. As his crew worked tirelessly to restore the TRL, they uncovered more about its past. The machine hadn't been part of a single operation. It had been a crucial piece of a vast mining network. Old records revealed that multiple sites had been connected, transporting pay dirt from one location to another. If this TRL had been sitting on gold for decades, then other abandoned sites might be hiding just as much treasure. These records were like a treasure map leading Parker toward more potential discoveries. It wasn't just about fixing an old machine anymore. It was about uncovering a forgotten chapter in gold mining history. For weeks, Parker's crew worked tirelessly. Every dented panel, every rusted bolt told the story of miners who had risked everything in their search for fortune. Restoring the trauma wasn't just about getting the gold. It felt like honoring the struggles and dreams of those who had come before. That is Gold Run, which was a super-rich creek and where it dumped into Dominion. I'm guessing was in this area right here, and the deeper they dug the better. The news got the gold kept flowing in, far exceeding anyone's expectations. What had started as an abandoned rusting relic had turned into one of the biggest gold finds of Parker's career standing. Before the massive machine, Parker couldn't help but reflect on what they had accomplished. The trauma wasn't brand new, sleek, or shiny. In fact, it was the opposite. Rust covered its surface, vines had begun to creep over it, and dirt had settled into every crack. People would have walked right past it, dismissing it as useless junk, but Parker had seen something others didn't. He understood that treasure wasn't always deep underground. Sometimes it was hidden in plain sight, waiting for the right person to recognize its worth. This TRL had once been one of the best gold processing machines of its time, separating gold from dirt and rock with impressive efficiency. But as technology advanced, newer, faster machines took over, and the old ones were discarded like relics of the past. This TRL had been left behind in a remote mining area surrounded by broken tools, collapsed wooden structures, and rusted out equipment. To most, it was just another piece of history fading into obscurity, but to Parker, it was a golden opportunity. Parker had learned a crucial lesson that many miners overlooked. Old machines often held on to gold that had never been properly recovered over time. Tiny pieces of gold could become lodged in the troll's crevices, mixed in with dirt and debris. If this machine had processed gold-rich material in the past, some of that gold was likely still trapped inside. It wasn't just an old rusting TRL. It was a hidden gold vault waiting to be cracked open. Moving it out of its remote location wasn't going to be easy. The TRL was massive, weighing several tons, and it sat far from any accessible roads. Transporting it safely required heavy machinery, careful coordination, and sheer determination. One mistake could render the entire project useless, and all that effort would be for nothing. But Parker's team wasn't about to back down. They planned every step meticulously, knowing that if they succeeded, they wouldn't just be moving an old machine, they'd be resurrecting a legend. Design standpoint, they're very portable, easy to move around. It's on wheels. That's a good idea. The problem with this is it's just too small. This is a 50 or 60 yard an hour wash plant, but if you had a supersized version of this, I could see something like that working. Once they got it to a secure location, the real work began. Years of exposure to the elements had taken their toll. Rust had eaten away at crucial components. Metal had weakened, and some parts were missing altogether. To most people, it looked beyond repair, but Parker wasn't one to walk away from a challenge. His crew got to work taking the TRL apart piece by piece, scrubbing off layers of rust, replacing broken components, and reinforcing weak spots. But they didn't stop there. Instead of just restoring the TRL, they wanted to make it better than ever. They upgraded its systems, incorporating modern technology to increase efficiency and durability by blending the best of the past with the power of the present. They were creating something unique, a machine with the reliability of old-world craftsmanship and the cutting-edge performance of modern mining equipment. After weeks of relentless work, the moment of truth arrived. The team fired up the TRL, and it roared back to life. The giant drum spun, churning through dirt and rock, sifting out gold with remarkable efficiency. And then came the biggest shock of all. The gold started pouring out in quantities far greater than anyone had imagined. Some of the material processed by the TRL contained the richest gold deposits Parker had ever seen. That old abandoned machine, the one everyone else had given up on, had turned into one of Parker Schnabel's greatest successes. But this discovery wasn't just about gold. It was about vision, determination, and the ability to see potential where others saw only junk. It was proof that hard work, risk-taking, and a keen eye for opportunity could turn even the most overlooked relic into something truly valuable. Parker's success went beyond just reviving an old machine. It changed how people thought about mining. His team proved that by combining historical equipment with modern innovations, mining could become more efficient and sustainable. They minimized environmental impact while maximizing gold recovery, setting a new standard for responsible mining. Other miners took notice. Parker's story inspired a fresh wave of exploration, proving that sometimes the greatest gold rushes weren't in unexplored territory, but hidden in the rusted remains of the past, just waiting for someone with a vision to bring them back to life. Want to see more gold? Subscribe now and join the hunt for lost treasures, hidden riches, and legendary gold discoveries.